Hello everybody, Reggie Time here with my 8th video in my fundraising month. For those of you who want to know what I'm doing in more detail, click back on the first video of the month of the first the September social series. But in essence, I'm just trying to raise some money by way of making videos for a local group that provides social activities in the evenings for people in my area with learning disabilities. So far I've raised £95. I'm hoping to raise 150, but I'm stopping taking donations in 4 days from now, or 5 days from now, sorry. So if you haven't donated yet and you intend to, please do get them in quickly. Every £10 raised, I'm going to make a video for the channel. So at the moment, I own 9 videos for the £95, and this is the 8th of them, I think. So there's only one more to come after this, unless some more donations come in. So if you'd like to see some more videos this month and you haven't yet donated, now might be an appropriate time. We're playing 10 and L again this afternoon, just because that's the best game I can get 4 tables in. 20 and L lobby right now is kind of sparse, and mostly just some of the better regulars, so not bothering. I just want to produce some content, make some videos, and these are the games I'm choosing to do it in. Hopefully we're getting some fun situations, and if any more tables come up I shall play them on the side, so if we do lose one of these 4 tables, then we can just slide another one straight in. Although to be fair, there isn't that much going on in the 10 and the lobby either, but at every table that's running. So yeah, if a table does die, there might be we'll be just 3 table for a while. Hopefully they won't. You would hope at this time of day, like 20 to 3 in the afternoon, traffic would be picking up, not dropping off. Not c-betting the ace-10 versus this dude, because I've noticed he doesn't have a full button, but he is quite passive, so every chance we could just check ace-10 down here and have the best hand, which is what happened. I'm not going to c-bet this board against another calling station when we maybe have the best hand and certainly have a reasonable draw, but wouldn't expect him to fold anything better than our hand on this board. Now we make the flush, we can just try and get some value. I think of these 10 and L games, there's a particularly high rake environment. I don't think the games, the way the players play and the rake, that combination of things doesn't lend itself, in my opinion, to be playing kind of quite a loose, aggressive, kind of balanced strategy, because we're going to be making a lot of bluffs using that strategy that don't have too much chance of success and just significantly increase our rake contributions and the amount of money being raked off the table. Even when we lose a pot, if we lose a biggish pot to a bad player, then the rake taken from the table in general is just higher. So just try and keep the pots as small as possible, try and keep as many chips in play as possible without them being siphoned off the sky, and then just try and play big pots when you have strong parts of your range, etc. It's not cutting edge stuff, it's not stuff that anyone's going to learn a great deal from, but I do believe it's a reasonable strategy in a high rake environment with quite a lot of weak, loose players who aren't super aggressive, but are pretty sticky and stationary, which doesn't make for having bluff heavy ranges too much of a good strategy. Fold here, we're going to 3-bet the ace jack. I think just try and take it down pre-flop if we can. I'm doing with these deuces. I'm going to isolate, or try to isolate. This player here is kind of been splashy. At first time I've seen him open, to be honest, so perhaps it isn't the best 3-bet. Been donked into big here. We have a shitty baby flush draw. I mean, I guess we need to call once, but I'm not in love with it. And certainly not in love with it now. I almost wanted to fold the flop there, like low flush draw and a paired board versus someone who donked pretty big. Don't think we can raise there, really. Don't think we're making him fold a pair. Certainly not making him fold a better draw. So if we do like raise and the pot gets big, we're going to be up against trips or better flush draws a lot. Or just pairs where our pairs won't improve us enough to improve past him. I mean, if we get him, and I don't know anything about this player, if we do get him more pots and they continue to like take relatively odd aggressive lines, then we will adjust, but I'm not going to start getting too far out of line when I don't know anything about a player. I keep my eye on this dude up here because he seems fruity, shall we say. It's a shame with the King Jack. I was quite looking forward to getting involved, but it's gone 4x and then min 3-bet. We just let it go. This player thinks a regular. He was at a few tables earlier. He's just at 2 now. I've never met him before. Not familiar with his player at all. Not familiar with the name, but think he might be a regular. I would try and search him, see how many tables he's at, but I think he's only at 2, and the Sky search function hasn't been working for a couple of days through the browser for some reason. This could be an isolation raise, not an isolation, but like try and take the pot down pre against someone with a bigger stack size, but not against that stack size. Just going to bet here, just try and protect our equity if we're in front. This player up here, he's tagged green. He's kind of relatively high volume 10-0 player, but like quite passive. Don't think he's that good, to be honest, but I want to try not to offend fellow regulars that aren't particularly offensive. There's some regulars that I'll take great pleasure in offending and or trying to get under the skin of. This dude wouldn't be one of them. He's just here doing his thing, playing his game, and good luck to the man. Interested to go back and look and see how this hand played out. Look at it off the screen so we don't reveal any screen names because I wasn't paying attention. Four X to pre. C-bet is deuces on. Here's Queen Jack and called a check raise. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff, sir. Oh, he didn't just call a check. What? No, he bet, called a check raise, and he min 3-bet with his deuces. Was it deuces he had? Hey, wow. So he c-bet, deuces on, ace jack queen, and then clicked it back versus a check raise, which is fruity. Definitely falls under the tag of fruity, right? This dude's made like a really small 3-bet here. Could have 4-bet. As it happens, we'll just flop the nuts and look to check raise. Make this about 260, I think. And then just overbet jam any turn that isn't red. Maybe not. Pulled the ace jack there to the 3-bet from someone who I think is kind of a tightish regular. Not entirely sure. Flop 2 pair down here on table 3, so we're going to start raising. Happy to just try and check down against this dude. So you've got an open and a min 3-bet. I'd love to try and see a flop with the 5s, but we're not guaranteed to see a flop, so we just let them go. I'm going to call this 10p bet with our pure bluff catcher. Donked into here, multi-way, only a small bet, but nevertheless, with just 2 overcards and that runner straight draw, we'll let it go. And there's been a small check raise. Flop 2 pair down here on table 4, so we're just going to lead out for a full pot size bet. We don't want to see any black ones. That's exactly what we see. That's like a terrible black one to see too. The 10-9 gets there, etc. Being called in 2 spots, so we're just going to be very, very quiet now, unless we fill up. And then our 2 pair gets counterfeited too. All in all, it's been a quite disappointing run out. But we still managed to chop it up. And I guess that kind of sums up my thoughts on this play. He just played quite a few tables. He's been playing poker a long time, but did he just limp the queen 6 there? I think he possibly did. Yeah, he just like limped him with the queen 6 suited. That's why people earn green tags. I don't care how many tables you're playing, I don't care how long you've been playing. If you're limping in with the queen 6 suited, you're only ever going to have the green tag. Excuse me. I'm a bit chesty today, so I'm going to be hitting the mute button from time to time whilst I try and clear the frogs in my throat. How's this pot so small? Why did I not raise pre-flop? Did I raise pre-flop? Don't know. This table's going to bite the dust now because just 2 regulars left. 1 regular left. No other tables at the minute, so it looks like we're going to be playing 3-handed. Sorry, just 3 tables. See if the 20-0 table we can slide in. Very much like to continue here with this pretty hand against this dude as well, but when he's gone to 3x to 15x, then We're just going to have to pass it up, and then we flop the flush draw. Looks like this guy might be steaming a bit, who knows? No, obviously not. Do we squeeze here or just call with the Queen Jack suited? Not a huge fan of calling 4x opens, but we do have this interesting dude here. We might go for a check raise here if this fellow bets. He seems loose enough to have some light C bets here. I'll have to fold if he jams, which wouldn't be fun, but I wouldn't be enjoying my equity too much versus a jam here. He calls. I do feel he's got an overpair here. Oh, he's just got the full house. Okay then. No problem. Nice hand, sir. Nice hand, sir. I'm not sure that turn jam. I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, if he has called the flop with a flush draw or something, I don't know, with like a flush draw that has it high carded, then we get a lot of folds against that. Given you didn't 3-bet the flop, we don't have to be drawing dead on the 9, of course. I mean, as it happens, we were, but we don't have to be. Could be a little bit spewy. But, it is what it is. King 10 off suit's just a little bit weak to try and isolate versus 2 limpers. What's happening in the 20 in those streets? Anything worth playing? Reg. Fish, reg, reg. Reg. Fish, reg, reg, reg. Fish. Nit, reg, reg. Dunno. Reg. Nah. The 20 L streets do not look like they're paved with gold today. I'll just try and start another table. I'll return to this table now it's empty and hope some fish join. There don't seem to be a great deal of traffic in the 10 L lobby this afternoon, so whether people are going to be joining and whether we're going to be like richly rewarded with fish is very much open to debate. I'm going to go back and see what size this potential regular opened those threes with. It's 4x, wasn't it? Anyway, don't need to go back and check because it was 4x. Because he has been using some different sizings pre-flop, so it'd be interesting to know. I'll try and find out what his different sizings mean. See, but here 2 overs and backdoor everything. Seems like a reasonable c-bet. Turn the queen. I think that's going to be a scare card to his 10x, and we're just going to go with a smaller, more milky sizing on the turn rather than Use a large sizing. 9's an interesting card. It does make him some 2 pairs, etc. Wouldn't want to face a donk bet here. I think we're probably going to lose if we face a donk bet. Checks. I think we just bet small, fold to a raise here, don't we? Try and get... the hand I'm most worried about would be like 10-9, Queen-9. When we take it down. And get just a little bit of value on 3 streets. I'm hoping he had a 10 there, because that's the kind of hand I was targeting. 4-6. Okay then. What? 4-6? That was fuck all, wasn't it? Let me go back and look at that. Surely that couldn't have been 4-6. Oh, it was. He called me down with the 4 and the 6. No pair, 6 high. I'm going to go with a check here and try and like check raise, give 6-5 a chance, etc. If he has an ace, pocket 7, pocket, loads of things that are going to call here, giving a chance to bluff with some other stuff. What the fuck was going on in that hand when he had the 6-4? So he limped 6-4 offsuit pre-flop, called a raise. He then check called the gut shot on the flop, which is understandable at least. Check called the gut shot on the turn to the small side, which is understandable. And then just paid 80 pence to see what my hand was on the river, knowing he couldn't possibly be good. Yeah. Interesting. It's going to over limp here at the bottom with the ace-5 of diamonds. This dude's limp of 26 blinds. Don't want to isolate to like 70 or 80, then he just like smashes it in our face. And this regular, like fishy regulars, asked me if I had the full house there. I just replied, yep. You can't see, of course, because it's pixelated. Let's just smash a worldie here. Oh, we have smashed a worldie. We've smashed an absolute worldie with a redraw to the super worldie. I'm not impressed with this 10 pence bet. That's what I'm not impressed with. We just need to raise here. We're not going to get action very often, I guess, given it's like 3x pre, checked all the way around, 10 pence. But, yeah. We need to make a raise. Potentially chasing away a lot of action, but we just need to try and build the pot. He's just told me, this player just told me on the table he folded the flush when we check raised the river with the full house. And this dude's drawing dead up here. It's unfortunate when you flop the nut flush 5-handed and you only get to stack the guy with the shorter stack. It's something of an anticlimax, but we'll take what we're given. Alright, let's get rid of this table because there's another 10-L table formed that has 3 players at it, none of which are skilled regulars. Tables have moved around a little bit now. Table 1 stayed where it is. The one that was here is now here. The one that was here is now here, etc. In case any of you are following certain tables. If you've got your eyes on any of the fish, seeing what's going on with them. Not sure what my plans are for October yet. My playing plans are going to be try and play significantly higher volume. Not played too many of the 13L games because, to be frank, they ain't that good most of the time. They're good over the weekend. Through the week, they're pretty diabolical. And I find myself often just like refusing 10L games whilst also sat staring at an empty 13L lobby trying to get games going, etc. Definitely want to try and increase my volume. I think I'm going to attack it playing, hopefully, most of my volume at 20L. I was talking about playing it at 10L yesterday, but I think 20L. And then just like chopping up volume at 10L rather than like playing a mix of 20 and 30. Play a mix of 20 and 10 because I think the increased volume I get at 10L will probably produce more action for me than tougher 13L games. I'm not explaining that very well. I'll explain it more in a moment when I'm collecting my thoughts more. Big bets coming here, I think. Yeah, so basically, my volume has been pretty poor for a while now on Sky, and it affects my motivation. Because I say, oh fucking hell, look at me! I've been sat at, like forever in a table, in a lobby or at tables where no one's sitting. I'd rather just be playing poker. If that means like playing at lower stakes, but just playing and enjoying it more, that's kind of where I'm going with it. I'll play 13L games when they're good. If I spot a good 13L table, I'll absolutely be at it. But what I won't be doing is like scrapping around with some of the better regulars, like your Coco Pops, your Big Hawks, your several other good players that play 30L that just make life difficult. And you know, if you got 3 or 4 of them at a table and just like 1 or 2 fish, how much money is there in that game compared to like just increasing volume, increasing my enjoyment at slightly lower stakes? I don't need to make money at poker to um, continue living the lifestyle I am. Not that I'm living a particularly, like balling lifestyle, but I'm in a comfortable position. So I just want to like playing poker for pleasure more than like being maximising the amount of money I can win by terms of like playing in higher stakes games against slightly better players. I think my priorities are beginning to change somewhat with poker. I guess that's what I'm getting at. And I just want to enjoy it now. I like play some reasonable volume, enjoy myself, and not get too bogged down in battling in games that I don't really enjoy very much. I enjoy these types of games much more than 13L, even though I'm fully aware that my profits in these games, my owl is going to be a little bit lower. My enjoyment level is going to be significantly higher. I'm not chasing a good shot on that, but so we're going to be playing like hopefully most of my volume 20L, topping up with 10L, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with videos yet next month because I kind of don't mind making these live play videos at 10L, but I'm wondering like what the value of them is because I just know so many of the players I play against watch. I'm not saying they watch every second of my videos, but they watch enough of them where I feel like I enjoy making the videos, but how much harm does that do to giving free information away to people who I play against every day? So I'm not sure. I do enjoy the videos, but I'm not sure I enjoy giving tons of like free information away to players who will absolutely use that to exploit me. So we'll see. Not sure yet. This guy's come with the 4x again. Last time he had like a baby pair when he did this. Let's see if we can track the show down, see what happens. It's been a 3x open from unknown green tagged player on the button here. We have the ace 10. I think we're going to go with a 3-bet. Don't really want to be calling 3x opens too often. I'm going to go with a big ISO here, like 3-bet sizing. Isolation raise at the big blind with the ace jack. There's already like 3 people with money invested in the pot. If we make it like 6x there, we're probably just going to get 3 callers and be out of position with a hand that's, doesn't do that well. And here we just have like a pretty standard bet and then not fold. And we actually managed to get it in front, which is remarkable. Not continuing there with when the 4 straight gets there. The 7 is like a really good card for his range. I guess doesn't improve us at all very often. So don't really want, it's not a spot where I want to continue bluffing. I don't think we're going to get too many folds. But if we're going to river the nuts, then got to be happy. It just wasn't a good card to barrel. I know we had like a lot of equity with or decent equity with our flush draw. But I mean, how many folds do we get on the 7? I mean, I guess we sometimes get into folds from pairs, etc. But the 7 felt more like it was his card than it was our card. And we've been donked into here. We just have ace king on this board. Just sad face fold. And we're just going to bet smallish on this river, something like 60. Another player here is tagged green. This here and here. And here. He's playing 3 tables, but he's tagged green. He's probably tagged green because he doesn't reload, but that doesn't mean that he's like necessarily going to be a loose player. This is where the absence of stats can be a little bit frustrating, because is he like a genuine like 40 plus VPIP fish, or is he just a type player that doesn't reload? That's kind of important information. We kind of like to try and find that out as quickly as possible. And my guess is if he's playing 3 tables, it's more likely it's going to be a type player that doesn't reload rather than someone who's playing a wide range of hands. That will be my default assumption until it's proven otherwise. Just have like an absolute pure bluff catcher here. Don't think we're going to be good often enough to justify calling there. Oh, 6x open. Quite deep. If we're 200 blinds deep, I'd probably call there. Just to try and play a pot with a very pretty hand in position against somebody who I think is pretty bad. And here's our friend we talked about yesterday, our fellow copite. Not that I've been on the cop for a lot of years now. How many years will it be? Put it this way, I went with my sister's ex-husband, and my sister's been married to her new husband for a long time and has got a child with him that's now coming up 19. So yeah, it's been over 20 years since I've been on the cop. Need to change that, or maybe not on the cop, but need to get myself to Anfield sometime this season. Or yeah, it's just sometime this season. My wife's a fellow Liverpool fan. It'd be nice to go and watch this side in the stadium. There's a good chance our ace queen's still good here. Don't really think betting's going to achieve very much if he does check. He leads out with 30 pence. keeps betting this size, we're going to just keep calling, I guess. Even though I suspect he probably has some kind of like shitty pairs at this point, like anything deuces through like nines. And he got significantly upside his river. The guy just has a much better hand than ace queen. Not a problem. Interesting spot here. Now we have like the worst straight possible. Don't really feel we can value bet for two streets. I mean, just how easy it is for this dude to have a queen here, queen 9, queen 10, jack, queen, etc. I guess the 6 doesn't change anything actually. And when he checks back, we're pretty much always going to win, but don't think we could have played that hand too differently there. Do we bet on the turn there? Pocket threes. So we floated pocket threes on jack 8-9. Don't like that very much. And then he turned it into a bluff on the turn and didn't follow through on the river. Yeah. Don't think I like his line there. I mean, I don't hate the idea of turning pocket threes into a bluff on that board, not by a long chalk. I think I quite like it actually. But I don't like the fact he chose a small size on the turn and then just gave up on the river. I mean, how often do I have a queen or better there and take that line? I would argue almost never. When he could just get me so many better hands there, two pairs, sets, lower straights, like the straight I had if he'd bombed turn and like bombed river. You know, there's a reasonable chance he gets me off it. So I think the idea was right, betting the turn, turning his, well, I think the flop floor is ambitious. I think his turn bet versus my check is a good idea, but the sizing isn't right. And then the river, I think he probably should just blast. But instead he chose to give up. I'm presuming he knew he didn't have any showdown value, but just chose to give up. And that's kind of where like pretty loose bad flop calls can and get you in all kinds of trouble when you like defend very weak made hands versus C bets, and then your opponent starts showing weakness. It's like, oh, now what do we do? You know, you can kind of find yourself stuck in no man's land. I think all in all, he would have been better just folding the flop there. Don't know how long this video is going to last. Could well be like an hour and a half jobby. My wife's not due home from work for another hour. I'm not planning on doing anything other than, excuse me, play poker for the next hour unless tables like, which it just won't happen, just drop right off. There's a good chance this might be like a 90-minute plus video. You guys already know, of course. Excuse me. shouldn't be doing this right now, but because I'm a sad bastard, I am checking Twitter and BBC News for any developments in the Supreme Court case against the government, because I'm a right sad bastard. Now, 1 minute. Lady Hale, court will give ruling as soon as it humanly can, which I guess means that the hearing is now over. But who knows how long these people take to make decisions? Is it going to be made today? Who knows? Don't want to get too political on the channel because I know it upsets people. But it would be fun to see the judges find against the government just to piss Boris Johnson and his chums off a little bit more. Anything that causes displeasure to right-wing people, I'm more than happy to watch and enjoy. I'm going to go with the small squeeze here with the King Jack suited. Happy to take it down. Wouldn't have minded a call either, especially from this player, but obviously happy to take it down uncontested. Because we've got middle set here, we don't block any top pairs, second pairs, etc. We're going to bet pretty damn big. Get raised if he's got King Jack, hallelujah. He doesn't, he's drawing dead, virtually. And I think now we've undone the damage done earlier with the just come up on breaking news on the BBC. Supreme Court hearing on whether UK PM suspension of Parliament was lawful ends. Decision due early next week. How fucking vague is that? How long does it fucking take, man? You've heard the evidence. Just make your fucking minds up. Torturing us with another fucking 3 or 4 days of speculation. I'm not going to isolate with the Ace-5 suited from middle position. Interesting that this player, who I think might be a regular, found a donk bet. Not going to get to find out what he's doing it with. I suspect this table isn't great now. We have this player who is fishy but not super loose, regular, and someone who I suspect is just a tight fish. Let's see if there's any other tables running. We can switch in for it. Aha, maybe there is. Maybe there is. Let's just grab that seat while it's there, and we'll switch tables. This player's definitely got the better of me this session. He's going to make me fold again here when he c-bets. Aha. Now we have a pretty easy check call on turn, so I think he's going to have like a lot of high cards here. If he bets this river, he's going to have a king a lot, but he may also have some ace jack, ace queen, etc. that finally decides to stab. He's going to have a king a lot here, but I'm going to pay to see. And he has the ace 10. So he's 4x pocket threes, he's 4x ace 10 off from the button. Nothing wrong with either of those like hands he's chose to open. Not convinced by his sizing. Interesting to see if we find out in future hours or days if he does have different sizings, or 4x is more or less his standard open size. We would have double barreled any high card on this turn or heart. As it is, we're just going to give up with our jack queen. Maybe we still have the best hand. He can have stuff like 8-7, 6-7, things like that. Maybe we call this river if he bets, because I don't think he's going to be betting ace highs too often. We'll just try and take them to showdown, and we do beat an awful lot of just like random floats. If he's betting ace high here, this call's terrible, of course. And he is betting ace high, so that call is probably terrible. Aware for a split second there that moving tables in does reveal player names. Nothing much you can do about it other than try and get the tables tiled as quickly as possible. Ten-9 suited limp. ISO with 3-bet quite a lot. Do I want to 3-bet 10-9 suited here? No, it's got enough playability where I'm willing to take a flop and like play out of position possible against players who I don't suspect are like really good at poker. Crystal clear call here. Do we bet? I don't think we bet, do we? No, we don't bet. I was thinking could we get away with like a little blocker bet to kind of set our own price rather than check call a larger bet. I think we're very likely to just check fold on this river. King deuce. He wasn't going to fold the turn if we bet. So, donk top pair multi-way. So we've already got the note, we don't need to make it again. So here we have the two jacks. We're going to do 3-bet and fold if this guy 4-bets, and then just get it in against either of these two. Nothing much else to do here other than wager the rest of our chips, or the rest of his chips. I think we should have just bet this flop when he doesn't donk. Given we have the read it in donks top pairs, maybe we could just have bet here to kind of fold out some other stuff, but we didn't because I was too busy looking at this hand. Turned out okay anyway. Jack 9 suited. Just call. I think these players are pretty passive. Don't expect to get squeezed too often. Don't know how often this guy's opening. Don't really like getting into like light 3-betting versus like unknown green tag players. It's not really my game. Sure, there's merit to it, but it's just not something I do. I'm gonna go with a raise here. Some overs and some backdoors. 7-6 suited versus sizable 3-bet. No, thank you. Again, in like playing higher stakes in a lower rake environment, then I think we defend that with a much higher frequency. But again, against people who don't think are getting out of line with 3-bets in a high rake environment, like if we go around defending 7-6 every time we get 3-bet, then probably not going to be making any money on it, or very little money. This flop is not attractive. Right, so we know this player doesn't have anything, this big fishy player, or if he does, it's kind of pretty weak. I think he's going to lead with his made hands. So now can we get through this dude? That is the question. Don't think I want to bluff here against the calling station. 7 deuce. Okay, we'll take it. We will take it. 4x, you're going to like 3-bet the ace queen, fold to a jam. Not from this dude though, I don't think. So we're chugging along nicely now. It's just a pleasant, stress-free grind. I think, to be fair, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure I'm good enough to have big win rates anymore in games. I think some of the regulars, not many on Sky, but some of the regulars have definitely improved more than I have over the last 18 months. Been working much harder on the games, I imagine. And they're capable of putting me in spots where I'm uncomfortable, and therefore that reduces my enjoyment of the games. Basically, I don't like playing in games where there's like 2, maybe 3, 4 players that all like 3-bet upwards of like 6-7%. I much prefer playing in like more like weak, passive-ish games. I suppose we all do, but I'll be honest with you, I just don't think I've got the heart for the battle with the regulars as much as I used to have. I just want to enjoy my poker now, and and just take what comes easily. It's a bit gutless, and it's why I don't offer coaching and stuff anymore, because it's just I just haven't got the heart or the inclination for like battling versus good players like I used to have. It's just not my thing. This is just like super chilled. I mean, I have a bad session at 30 and L, and I can lose what 150, 200 quid. I have a bad session at 10 and L, I lose 30, 40 quid, and I just go about my day and not give a fuck. And that's important. Just like not having shitty stresses and irritation is important to me. Didn't want to face a check raise on that turn, which is why I didn't bet. And now we can just pretty comfortably fold to a river check raise. Given he's snap checked, don't think he's going to have flushes too often. But if he does raise, then he will have lots of them. Basically, I just want to enjoy poker in a stress-free environment. And basically, most of the time in 13L games, it's not a stress-free environment for me. The guy had Queen King there, so we definitely missed some value, but never mind. Now, that's the first time I've ever come out and confessed to not enjoying the 13L games, but it's just true. This is meant to be like a vloggy type thing. The whole point of vlogs is to capture your thoughts. I mean, obviously, if I see some like big whales playing, I'm going to go and get in there and mix it up. But I just don't like having days where I lose like £100 or more. It doesn't happen too often, but when it does, it kind of like, oh, fuck off, that's annoying. Then you can like undo a lot of decent work in a couple of bad sessions, and then all of a sudden, you don't want to play as much anymore. You're frustrated. You start getting a little bit like, oh, I don't want another big losing session, and you start playing too cautiously, a bit weak, monster under the bed, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's just not. It's not what I want my poker to be anymore. It's the days of my making decent money from poker, unless something significant changed on the poker landscape, are behind me. I think now I'm very much more of a like a full-on hobbyist. Hopes to make if I can make 300 or 400 quid a month, I'd be more than happy. Make a couple of £100 a month, I'd be happy, and maybe splash around in a few like low-level MTTs too, and just be very recreational in terms of like playing as much for a pastime as to try and make a significant income stream. That's where I'm at now. So if that means playing like more 10 and 20 and L, and just keeping my stress and anxiety levels to a minimum, that's what I'll do. Mental health is important, and poker can absolutely affect your mental health. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change my life. If I lose like 300 quid in a week, it's not going to change my life anything. I'm still going to have the pizza on the Saturday and have the football bets on a Saturday, back the horses. It's not going to change anything. But if I had like, I became a consistent break-even losing player, then it would. Because all of a sudden I'm not making that extra few quid a month, and I'm not enjoying the game anymore. So all of a sudden I've gone from having a game I enjoyed that I'd make some money from to a game I'm not enjoying anymore and possibly not making money from, potentially even losing in. And yeah, if that ever became the case, then I wouldn't want to play poker anymore. And I don't particularly want to stop playing poker, so therefore moving down in limits where there's no pressure on me seems like a smart enough thing to do. There's been a few times lately when I've been playing 30 now when I've been afraid to pull the trigger in spots, either on a big call or a big bluff or whatever. And once that starts happening, it's time to seriously reassess what you're doing. It's never been a problem for me. If I think something's the right play, I've just delivered it. And lately, I haven't been. I've kind of stuttered a little bit. And once that starts creeping into your game, then you need to do something about it, and you need to do something about it quickly. Otherwise, you will just get eaten alive. Disappointing flop out of position to somebody who doesn't like folding, but is, to be fair, pretty passive. I think we can have quite a safe check fold here if he bets. We beat with these sevens, but versus two big blinds, we just kind of have to call. And we weren't beat, and that's why we have to call. Again, this table wouldn't be great. You've got like at least three tight players, and then possibly a fourth one up here with the player who I suspect is just like a tight fish. But fortunately, there is another potentially better table to join. So that's what we'll do. What we'll do this time when we slide the table in, I think we'll just pause the video momentarily. Just to make sure I don't get in any trouble with the bosses at Sky, who aren't fond of player names being made public. And bet a second time here with the top pair and the flush draw, and then just check back rivers. So let's just pause for a nanosecond. And we're back. That was seamless. So this is a new table. These two tables have moved positions, and then this table appears still where it's always been. I've got a horrible feeling. No, it's okay. I had a horrible feeling that my microphone has stopped working then, because the sound level bar didn't look like it was picking up sound on the recording software, but seems that it still is, so that's all good. Time are we on now? 15:41. I think we'll play for another half an hour. Play till 4:10, and then wrap it up. The minute we're on for booking a profitable session. That's despite spunking and buying off with by bluffing a draw into the nuts, or the virtual nuts. One of the more disappointing flops for Queen 9 suited, isn't it? This guy seems to be opening a lot of hands. This guy doesn't squeeze a lot though. Again, we just want to try and play as many pots with these two players, this player in particular, as possible, without excessively bloating them. Now we picked up the gut shot here, we're going to go with a lover bet versus someone who's checked twice. And I think we'll try an overbet here too, with our nut flush draw. It's not a thing I'll do very often in like a heavy multi-way pot, but it seemed like an okay spot to try it. Could be wrong. Massive 3-bet again. Last time this dude made a massive 3-bet this size, he had pocket queens, and we don't have a very good hand to defend against pocket queens or better. Checking down here with my ace high. Hope it's best hand. And it was. It's a pretty rancid run out for our 10 deuce. And no more chips going into this pot. Especially not when he's check called twice and then decided to just lead out. If he doesn't donk here, we're going to see bet. If he does donk, we're going to fold. So when he check calls, I'm ruling out King X from his range. He can definitely have some draws. The 5 kind of slots in with some of his draws, but it does improve us to a gut shot, so we are going to fire a sizable second barrel. Hopefully safe in the knowledge he doesn't have King X, because he didn't donk. I mean, you can't be sure. I mean, sometimes maybe he doesn't always donk top pair, but I had a note already existing that he did donk top pair once, and then we saw him doing it again. So when we can start like taking some of those, or a lot of those combinations of people's ranges, then we can have a little bit more fun with our draws. It's a miserable flop for the 7-6 suited on table 4. I bet my 3 here on table 1. Check calls. So we're behind to his 5x, we're ahead of his 3x. And probably ahead of like some of his other stuff. Well, we're ahead. Maybe the 4 puts him ahead now. Some of the hands he could have called with. Don't intend to put any more money in the pot. That's for sure. Unless he bets 20 pence. It's a good chance we're going to lose to 5x here, or maybe 4x. But given we're getting an absurd price, same hand. So very solid read on his post-up lines. Really happy with that, especially when we're a little bit deeper against him, and when we're sending him around a reasonable amount, so we're going to come up against him time and again. One would hope. I'm going to go with check call flop here and also check call turn, and then probably check raise river unless the board runs out something stupid. the plan here is check call again, then check raise river. Pretty safe run out. Nah, he didn't go for it on the river, which is a shame. Oh, I was going to bet 110 there, and that timed out, and then this guy just donked. Right, what we're doing here on these boards. I'm going to bluff raise the ace-9 small. I'm going to float the ace-king. I'm going to fold the king-jack. Once he calls, we'll just give up. Trivial call here, of course. And lose to the full house. Just giving up here. We do beat some flush draws. King-jack, jack-9, side of the thing. Yeah, that's king-jack. I was a little bit distracted. I was going to bet. It was just absolute slam dunk bet into a regular on that board. It was an absolute total slam dunker. Didn't get to make it. Not going to lose a lot of sleep over it, to be honest. I mean, maybe he just had the ace anyway and we saved ourselves some money with our inefficiency on the clicking of buttons. Right, clear my throat. Mute. Clear my throat, take a drink, then vape. Well done, Reg. Good thinking. I'm an exploitable fold here against this dude. I have like top pair, no kicker on a. So if I'm going to make it exploitable fold, why the fuck did I call? Just click the wrong button, you fucking fuck nugget. Oh dear. Now we can't fold because of his sizing. I think he's going to bomb this river. He's going to check it. And we chop it up. So our misclick on the flop actually made us a tiny bit of money. That's 2 mistakes now I've made through lack of concentration. Get your act together, Reggie, you fucking idiot. Right, so this guy's betting here, which tells me he's got at least top pair, but we do have an open and straight draw, so we're going to peel once. Squeeze here with the ace jack. This is about where we should bluff, but I don't think this dude's going to fold a 9 or a 10. So we won't bother. So now we know he's donking second pairs too. Oh no, he's not donking, it was a limp pot, wasn't it? Ignore me. A7 suited, and not just that, some other hands too. Some of you are going to think, wow, this guy's a nit, etc. But it's just not that much raising in these games. I'd imagine most players have like raise figures of like less than 14%. So do you really want to be like defending A7s versus people who you suspect don't have wide raising ranges? I mean, maybe this guy does, maybe some of the guys do, but we don't know. So I'm willing to just like not, if people enter a pot for a raise, I'm just going to respect it as being like a reasonable hand and try not to get too out of line until I suspect that they're somewhat out of line. When I used to be working with people, they would often like make some like semi-loose calls pre-flop, get involved in biggish pots, and then complain that oh, they always have it. Um, well, that's to be expected if people are only like raising 10 to 14% and what have you, and then like betting, making big pots post flop. They are just going to have it more. If you're playing in games where people have like playing on 35-28 with a 12% three bet, etc., then yeah, they're not always going to have it. But if you're playing against people who are playing like, I don't know, 25/7, and then defending versus their opens with like ace sevens and things like that, and the pots get big when you flop an ace or what have you, they are going to always have it a lot more, and it's just logical, really. The way to beat these games isn't by defending wideish versus opens and then going to the streets post flop versus people who are continuing with the aggression and like getting out of line versus them with like lots of bluff raises or trying to hero call down. That isn't the way you're never going to make money in these games. Tight is right. Play tight, open sensible ranges yourself on the tighter side, respect aggression, don't miss value, don't pay off. It's dull as shit. It's old school, but it's still, in my opinion, the best strategy to beat high rake environments with people who don't have particularly wide opening ranges. They have lots of like wide calling ranges, maybe, or wider than they should, but they don't necessarily have wide aggressive ranges. Very much like the old school Negreanu type, like before he tried to turn himself into some kind of like GTO player. The old like Negreanu small ball, try and keep pots small, and then just try and um, blow them up when you have a strong hand, still is the best strategy in my opinion to employ in these games. That's a full house, and that's going to be a fold with the jacks. Oh, we're not going to win much with our queens here. Snap checks twice, super dry board. I'm going to go big here. If he has a misdraw, he can't call anyway. If he has a 10, he might call. No sense going with like a smaller bet there. He's either got a bluff catcher or he's missed. So, go big. It's annoying, we've got jammed on with them jacks, wasn't it? I think getting jacks in there versus a 4x and a snap all in. We're going to be in rough shape there. Flipping or just pretty much dead. That's going to be the case. And if I'm in a situation where I'm flipping, I think a player I used to work with who's now better than me, he said situations where he feels he's flipping or fucked, he just folds. And that was definitely a situation where we were flipping or fucked most of the time. So I shall defer to Will's alliteration, because I do like a bit of alliteration. Yeah, and flipping or fucked means fold. There you go, all the F's. That didn't work out too well, did it? That did not work out too well. I was kind of hoping he had like a 6 or a 7 there, maybe some 10x, etc. You just had trip 8s. So he's min raised here. And last time he 4x and like snap jammed on us. This time he's min raised and he's just called, and we get a pretty disappointing flop. But I think we should probably bet it and then just shut down. Gonna bet here to protect against like his jack 10s, jack queens, ace jacks, ace 10s, all those things. So we've had a couple of reversals lately. We paid off with the nut flush against his full house. We lost the jacks there. We lost with the 9 deuce here too. So after commenting how things were flowing, I'm going to end the video on a bit of a downtick, it looks like. I'm going to go for 5 more minutes. That'll make a 1 hour 30-minute video. I carry on playing until my wife comes home, but 90 minutes seems long enough for the recording. Suspect it's been a slight winning session. Not much of a winning session, but a slight one nevertheless. Let's take a look. Yeah, up to now it's been like a plus £6 session, which it's better than losing, isn't it? And hopefully we've made some enjoyable content. Ouija did comment to me last night at the tables that he watches my videos, he uses them to help him fall asleep, which I thought was amusing, to be fair. He was trying to tell me about some guy who is making videos analysing how pluribus beat fucking pros, and I mean, I wasn't being rude to him, but I couldn't give less of a fuck about that sort of thing. I find it remarkably dull, and I said that to him, which, if you're having a conversation and you're looking at someone and you're in the same room as them and you're smiling when you're saying it, they're not getting offended. But when you just, I think I typed something like I'd fucking rather whatever, and said something arsey. I think things I'd rather be doing than watching that. Telling how boring I found it, and without knowing that I'm not meaning to be a dick, you could absolutely come off like a dick there. And I think that's what I did. So yeah, that's when he said, I watch your videos to help me fall asleep, and that's fair enough. I like that sort of banter. It's all good fun. Ouija did own me in a couple of spots. In fact, he fucking owned me all night. It was a very frustrating session. I mean, he gets out of line versus me, and he's probably right too, because he knows I'm a nit. Yeah, he's caught him 3-betting me with like Jack 5 offsuit, 3 deuce offsuit, etc. And he 3-bet me. I defended the King Queen suited. Thought came down Jack High, one of my suit. Check called it like a half pot bet, which probably wasn't good to start with. And the turn paired the board, but gave me the flush draw. I checked. He bet again. I shipped it. It's like a 300 big blind pot because we were a bit deeper, and he snapped me off with Jackson. Yeah, good stuff, sir. Good stuff. Ouija's difficult because I mean, his ranges are just so fucking out of line, and he's such an out of line player. But he fucking makes life difficult. I mean, when he first come along, I just thought he was like a fucking wild fish, to be honest with you. And then I spoke to some people who play with him more than I do, and they assured me that, even though he's wild, he's like a decent player post flop, and I was just like, nah, I'm not having it. He's fucking he's a mug, he's a muppet. I'm starting to change my mind now. I still think he's like way out of line, but I can't seem to catch the fucker out. He just, when I try and trap him, he just finds the checkbacks. When I try and value bet, he finds the folds. He's just, yeah, I think he probably has got some good post flop skills. I'm going to go with the barrel here. And it works. So yeah, if you've got this far in the video, Ouija, and without falling asleep, then props to you, sir. I still think you're fucking wild. I still think you're way out of line, but you've been having my number lately, and I'm not too proud or too stubborn to admit that. And there we go. We've reached the 1 hour 30 mark. So we're going to wrap it up before we find a hand that's going to continue the video. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend and lots of fun at the tables. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely weekend, and bye-bye for now.